Two large limestone public buildings anchor this part of downtown Eureka Springs. They span the deep ravine cut by Leatherwood Creek, which flows in a tunnel beneath all the buildings on this entire part of Main Street, forming one of Eureka Springs' undergrounds. To the south is the Carroll County Western District Courthouse. When Eureka Springs was incorporated in 1880, the Carroll County Courthouse was in Berryville, 12 miles across the Kings River. In bad weather, it was difficult to get in for court or business. The Arkansas legislature later voted to allow a second courthouse here. This courthouse was constructed in 1908 in an Italianate style designed by local builder W.O. Perkins. The lower level was originally on even ground below street level. In this photo, note the deep ravine of the creek on both sides. When the ravine was later filled, a moat was left around the lower level. This still serves as a county courthouse with a vintage courtroom and city offices located on the lower level. To the north is the City Auditorium. The groundbreaking ceremony for the City Auditorium was held on April 11, 1928, with the whole town turning out for the occasion. It offered a 1,500-seat theater and a basement gymnasium which served local schools until the late 1960s. The auditorium opened with a grand performance by John Philip Sousa and his orchestra on September 13, 1929. It turned out that the ticket sales didn't quite cover Mr. Sousa's contracted fee, so city fathers left the performance to open the bank and borrow the balance. Apparently, cash was the preferred means of payment back then. The theater and lobby were renovated in 2004 with the National Park Service Save America's Treasure grant. Many nationally known acts have performed here, but the auditorium is beloved for locally important events such as Ozark Folk Festival, which has been held here for 69 years, graduations, pageants, and concerts. Across the street is a commercial block which housed stores with a mix of practical items: hardware, paint and oil, groceries, flour, and feed. The building at 61 South Main was an automobile repair garage operated by the Hussey family until the 1980s. The 1900 corner limestone building was home to the central bank that became a wholesale grocer in later years, supplying the many small corner grocery stores which were conveniently located all around town. The stairway next to the central bank is actually a city street, Rock House Avenue. Up the stairs behind the building is Rock House Cave, where Dr. Jackson from Berryville had a makeshift hospital during the Civil War to treat injured soldiers with water from Basin Spring. An Arkansas Civil War sesquicentennial marker on Civil War healing was dedicated in 2011. Many early settlers took advantage of the shelters provided by the bluffs to build snug homes such as this one in Rock House Cave. In rough boomtown Eureka, it was a saloon. One of Eureka Springs' first gas stations stood on the site of the current brick store next to the stairway. On the other side of the stairway was the site of the Southern Hotel, shown in the center. It was one of the first lodgings in Eureka Springs. The Southern survived all of the great fires in the 1880s and 1890s, which destroyed most of the town's early wooden buildings. It had grown to over 100 rooms when it too burned in 1933. The end of the auditorium block also has a place in local history. The parking lot was the site of the Opera House. Built in 1892, it was a large building comfortably seating 300 people with a large stage for concerts, opera, theatrical, and vaudeville shows. It survived the 1888 and 1890 Great Fires, but it was ultimately demolished in 1923, a victim of neglect. The Centennial mural is located on the wall at the end of the auditorium block. Painted in 1979, this large depiction of the eras in Eureka Springs history is a symbol of the rebirth of the town as a travel destination in the centennial year of 1979. Designed by famous muralist and local artist Louis Friend, it was painted by him and other members of the Eureka Springs Guild of Artists and Craftspeople. The mural was recently restored to its original vivid colors by local artists. The mural is painted on the side of the James and Beck building, still standing on the south side of the Opera House site. Built in 1888, it originally featured a fine clothing store street level and upstairs residence and grocery stores in the 1930s. Next door is the Freeman Building, originally a hardware and furniture store. In 1952, the town's first modern supermarket opened there. This block up to the auditorium was renovated in time for the Centennial celebration in 1979. These Centennial-era renovations brought back canvas awnings to the front facades after decades of being considered too old-fashioned.